All right, so today we're going to talk about a car that's, well, it's more than just a car. We're looking at the Lucid Air Sapphire, and its journey is pretty incredible, going from this almost mythical idea to real-world engineering and now facing the tough realities of the market.
So our story here doesn't start in some high-tech factory. Nope, it actually starts way back in Greek mythology. We're talking about Asteria, the goddess of the night sky, of falling stars. A really powerful figure who, get this, valued her freedom so much she'd rather turn into an island than be captured.
Which, naturally, makes you think, if a goddess like that were around today, in 2026, what would she drive? What kind of machine could possibly live up to the idea of a falling star?
Okay, that brings us to our first section. A goddess chooses her car.
And the answer? Well, you probably guessed it by now, is the Lucid Air Sapphire. I mean, just look at it. It's a machine that honestly looks like it was sculpted right out of the darkness of the night sky.
So why this car for a goddess? Well, it breaks down into three pretty perfect, almost divine reasons. First up, you've got the aesthetics. That deep blue color, the flowing lines, it's like a streak of light in the dark. And that all-glass roof, it would keep her completely connected to her home, the stars. Then there's the speed. They call it meteor speed for a reason. This thing is meant to feel like a cosmic dive right from Mount Olympus. And finally, you have the silence of an oracle. I mean, think about it. For a goddess of prophecy, that near-silent hum from the electric motors would be absolutely perfect for deep, prophetic thoughts. But okay, enough with the mythology for a second. This car is a real thing, built with some absolutely mind-blowing engineering. So that leads us to Section 2, the anatomy of a super sedan. Let's really get into the nuts and bolts of this thing.
Behind every great myth, there's always a powerful truth. And in this case, that truth is all in the numbers. So let's take a look at what gives this car its divine speed.
It all starts right here, 1,234 horsepower. Just let that sink in for a second. That is a colossal number. It puts this car in the absolute tippy-top tier of performance cars anywhere on the planet.
And all that power, it translates into acceleration that's, well, it's honestly hard to wrap your head around. 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 1.89 seconds. That's not just fast, that's practically teleportation.
And it doesn't stop there. It just keeps on pulling, all the way up to a top speed of 205 miles per hour. Let me remind you, this is a four-door luxury sedan that's performing like a purpose-built hypercar. It's wild.
So the big question is, how? How do they pull this off? Well, the secret sauce is right at the heart of the car, Lucid's very first three-motor powertrain. You've got one motor up front, but the real magic is this twin-motor unit in the back. This setup lets it do something incredible called torque vectoring. Basically, it can send power to each rear wheel completely independently, which just transforms its handling and stability in corners.
But listen, it's not all about just flooring it in a straight line. The whole car is engineered as a complete performance package. We're talking a track-tuned suspension for razor-sharp handling, these massive carbon ceramic brakes for incredible stopping power, and a bunch of advanced drive modes that can totally change the car's personality from a comfy cruiser to an absolute track monster.
Now, this table is really interesting because it shows you exactly where the Sapphire fits in. You look at the rest of the Lucid Air family. I mean, they're all seriously impressive cars in their own right. But then you look at the jump to the Sapphire, the power, the acceleration, and yeah, the price tag. It's playing in a completely different ballpark. It's not just a step up, it's a leap into another dimension.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to this. Jason Camisa, a super respected automotive journalist from Hagerty, he called it, and I'm quoting here, the best handling sedan in the history of the world, or maybe the best handling car, period. I mean, wow, you can't get much more definitive than that.
Okay, so we've established this car is basically a myth brought to life, with performance that's off the charts. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important section, the business of going electric. We need to look at the real-world reality behind this legend.
Because, look, when you see a car this incredible, this ambitious, this expensive, it raises a huge question, right? Is the dream actually sustainable? To figure that out, we have to pull back the curtain and look at the financial reality.
All right, let's start with the good news, because there's definitely some. On the production side of things, you can see real momentum. In 2025, Lucid got nearly 16,000 cars out the door. That's a 55% jump from the year before. So the bottom line is they're making more cars and getting them into customers' hands. That's a huge win. But, and here's the crucial contrast, while production is ramping up, the company is spending an absolute ton of money to make that happen. For the full year of 2025, their net loss was over $12 a share. I mean, building a car company from the ground up is just insanely expensive.
However, and this is a really, really important however, the company ended that year with $4.6 billion in liquidity. So what does that mean? It means they have a pretty significant runway of cash to fund their operations, to keep investing, and to keep growing.
And they're not planning on slowing down. Their guidance for 2026 is to build somewhere between 25,000 and 27,000 vehicles. That's another huge step up as they push toward getting bigger and, hopefully, one day profitable.
And that really brings this whole story full circle, doesn't it? The Lucid Air Sapphire is what's called a halo car. It's this extreme, over-the-top machine designed to show off the absolute best a company can do. Its story is really all about ambition, taking an idea that started almost as a myth, forging it into real metal, and now trying to make it work in the real-world market.
Which really leaves us with this one big final question. In this incredibly tough, competitive industry, is having mythological performance and visionary engineering actually enough to build a legend that lasts in the real world? Well, I guess only time will tell. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.